I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Prayer, please.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day and all that you do for us. Please bless all who are here and help us in making good decisions for our borough. We ask this in your name, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Roll call.
Matt Moore,
Here.
Bob Barlett,
Present.
Scott Gutschall,
Here.
Heavy Seer,
Here.
Jim Steele,
Here.
Steve Knutson,
Here.
Lisa Knutson.
Here.
Okay, the executive session that we're supposed to have now, we're going to move to the end because we have other things. That way we only have one to handle. So we'll go into the committee work session now. It looks like law and ordinance is up, and we have two, looks like ordinances that we have to discuss. Is this Caitlin or is this?
Yeah, we'll keep. Okay, you want to take
Caitlin?
it? I've talked enough today.
Step up for us so we can get you on the camera and everything there.
Oh my.
Do you want me to come over here?
You
Sure.
can turn that on because it works now. I'll try
I'd
that.
rather not. I feel like you guys can hear me. I think there's supposed to be 3. There is 3 ordinances. The min and max one from last time that carried over. I was just going to go through them and put it into a more workable format for Remy. So that one you guys should have in front of you.
The one
Yes,
that
the big
does.
packet one.
Has curfew at the top.
Yes. So that's the min and max one. It was just adding in that not less than, not more than thing that we discussed last time. That's just for the magistrate because they have to have parameters so that they're all on the same page. Are there any questions about that? Do you want to go through it or?
So
The changes are in blue.
115-5, is that enforced by PD or is that enforced by?
That would be the police department.
Okay.
In theory, yes, that is not us. Mobile home parks is us. Motor vehicle service station would be codes. Sound amplification devices is police department. Parks and recreation after hours and smoking prohibited is police department. Prohibitive activities, police department. Tampering with and use of mall benches is police department. Prohibited connections is codes. Failure to pay taxes and taxes, I'm assuming it's the tax office. Loitering is police department, transient business license is codes, sidewalk permits codes, sidewalk encroachment is police department. Or codes, could go either way. Street excavation permits codes, zoning is codes, disorderly conduct is police department, fire insurance claim is codes, and fire prevention code is fire chief. So I went through the entire borough codes, and that is all of them. So that gets all of them into one thing, which Remy, I can send you the Word document of this.
Yeah, that'll make it easy, thanks.
And most of them, they had a.
They had the maximum in most cases, but not the minimum. The magistrate needs both because we go to 2 different magistrates in the borough. So he didn't, generally, we go to Weston's office. He didn't want him to set a minimum of, say, $25, whereas the other one might be doing a minimum of $100. He just wanted to get on the same page. For like the first offense, Weston's office, he does it as the minimum, and then if he sees you a second time for the same thing, he bumps it up a little bit. He wanted them the same starting point. So that was the purpose of this. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions, or can I go to the next one?
It was. This is just. I'm gonna ask you a question to maybe answer for them. Is there a reason why some of them are 300 versus 100 then?
It is just whatever the maximum was. We just set the minimum to be whatever we normally did in all the other ordinances. So if the max is 1,000, the minimum's probably 300. If the max is 600, the minimum's 100. If the max is 300, the minimum's probably 25. That's just to get that ratio kind of right. If the max is $40, the minimum's gonna be like 5, which that is the case in one of them. It was just kind of give them a smaller range.
Dave, do we do a lot of curfew violations? Do we?
Yeah, we do this occasionally,
Okay.
mostly juveniles.
Okay.
Might be out at the park or somewhere where they're not supposed to be.
Okay.
A lot of times we just take them home, but sometimes if it's a repeat offender, who will find them.
Alright.
The only thing I'm gonna have to check is, I know at least at one point, the maximum fine for non-public safety ones was 300, so I just have to
Yeah,
make sure.
I didn't
we're
change
not
any
there.
of the maximums, it was just putting minimums in there.
Yeah. Alright, I'll just double check that anyway.
Nothing's been changed as far as violations, right, just the fines.
It was just those minimum fine amounts. The only changes are in blue, so chief, feel free to take a look at it. If you guys think that some of the minimums need to be lowered, we can do that too. I was just keeping
So
in par
this-
with what we've been doing for the course.
So we'll need to vote on this tonight for it to be advertised. No?
Well, do you want me to advertise it for next month? I can do that.
As I say, if you guys wanna take time and look at it and vote at the next law and ordinance, that would give you guys time. It doesn't have to
Or
be
you could review
done.
it now in the next meeting, in the first meeting in May, we could at least then, you would have that time to review it,
That's fine.
advertise it then.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
And I can send you the document, cause you can yell at me, but I gave you the non-colored one, so you were looking for blue. I was looking for blue and you couldn't find, no, it was me. I didn't pick up that it was blue, I just did black and white. It's cheaper that way, right, Zoe?
Yes, it is.
It's cheaper that way.
That was why we did it,
Yeah,
Two strikes.
saving us money.
that does make it
Yeah,
difficult.
so I will send them the blue version.
Yeah, no wonder they're sitting here looking at it like crazy.
Don't worry, I was looking for the blue too, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I did this black and
I
white.
copied it for you. Oh, no, this is one you printed. Yeah, that would be that, okay. So the next one is the 21230, which is the sidewalk drop drains. That one is us actually changing the ordinance a little bit. The old ordinance read that it had to go through a drain pipe installed underneath the surface. We don't want that. It's been known to crack the sidewalks. What we actually want is a trough drain in the sidewalk, which you've seen them around town, that's what we've changed to. We just needed to state that in the ordinance, so that we have backing for when we tell contractors what we actually want them to do. Contractors are already doing it, they've been doing it like that for the past 5 years. But as people replace their sidewalks, we just need something to back us up in the ordinance. So that is that
Do you
change.
have any idea what they charge for this?
The trough drains, you can buy them at Lowe's, they're less than $100.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, and honestly, it's no different than them having to go buy the piping, cause you still have to buy the pipe to go
Our
underneath.
neighbor has one that's damaged, so we don't know.
Yeah, you can buy them at Lowe's or the 2 plumbing stores down by South Main Street, South Main Street.
Thank you.
So that's that one, and then the other one, this ordinance is just weird. 236, the water connection. This was from forever ago, when it was the municipal authority of the Borough of Lewistown. Obviously, it is no longer that. So this one we need to look at and change. The borough is no longer doing the water connections. And, yeah, so I did not make any changes to this ordinance. I just highlighted, the definition and then 236-6 where it says connection by the borough. The borough is not the one doing that connection. The municipal authority of Mifflin County Municipal Authority is doing that connection. So.
Pull this one up in color.
So that are the issue with those ordinances. Obviously, they need to connect to public water, but it's not going to be a connection done by the borough. So this is one, I don't know if Remy has a good solution on how to fix this.
This will be pretty easy to fix.
Yes, I just didn't, it's out of my realm on how to fix this one. Or the best ways of going about fixing this one. Because the borough's obviously mentioned in it about 100 times, and it's no longer the borough, so.
Do we need it then?
I feel like we
Yeah, you
need
should.
an ordinance saying
Yeah.
that they need connected to public water, because we don't want a bunch of wells in the borough. But,
We just need to change.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I just
gonna
think-
be a major problem.
So I mean, as Caitlin has, and Codes has gone through a lot of these, they've gone through a lot of the ordinances and, there hasn't been a lot of major changes, but there's little things that I think just have needed cleaned up. So I don't try not to bring on too much to law and ordinance, just little things, and I think we're getting to the point where we got a lot of stuff cleaned up in these last couple meetings that you know, just so we have a good, strong footing to stand on in the event anybody comes back and stuff like that. You know, moving forward, is there anything else that you guys want us or codes to look at specifically to bring? I think we're getting to a good point, you know, where we're getting stuff under control. I know that there was a yard sale one mentioned at one point last year. Is that something that you guys want us to?
With that, and parking on sidewalks and grass, I mean, down our way, it's getting to be a very nuisance. I mean, it's everywhere.
Just
On
parking
street,
in-
on street sweeper nights, I mean, they're just pulling up and parking. They're
Right
half
across
on the
sidewalk.
sidewalk, half in the grass, It looks like shit. I think that should be addressed.
Yeah, the main thing is to make sure that they're enforceable. That's the
Well,
important part.
Huntington enforces it, so if, you know,
Right,
there's no reason why we can't.
So they're half on the street, half?
No, they're half on the
Sidewalk and
sidewalk,
the
so they
grass.
pull up, they can't get all the way on the grass, so the rest of it hangs over the sidewalk. Then people have to walk around it. There's also a sidewalk down there, I talked to you guys back a couple months ago, that has never been repaired.
she
Right.
has until May 1st,
Why are we giving them that
Spruce and
long to
shell.
repair it?
because of the weather and stuff that got extended. So she has until May 1st, and then she's gonna get cited, and then the borough will have to fix it, and she'll be billed. That's what the magistrate said,
Okay.
because of the weather and
Well,
stuff.
there's nothing been done to it, they just put stone on top to keep it covered up, so.
Oh, you're talking about the one with the sewer line?
Yep,
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one on Walnut
no, the
Street.
sewer line right across from Chief Douglas's place.
Yeah, she hired a contractor, she paid the contractor, he never did it.
And so that's not our problem, so she need to be
Correct.
fined.
So she hired a new contractor and it's on his schedule. The new contractor is a good contractor. We directed her to somebody else, so it should be getting done this spring. He was waiting for the weather to
I'll
cooperate.
send it to you tomorrow.
That's what,
26, I think it says.
yeah, Shaw, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, that one, I'll follow up with that contractor and see when it's gonna be done.
Alright,
I thought you were talking about the one on Walnut.
now,
Yeah, that one, she has until May 1st.
there's just a lot of people walk up that side, and
Yeah, I'll follow up with him tomorrow.
So parking on grasses and sidewalk, just as we keep talking, do we have anything close to that?
Yes.
Sidewalk encroachment.
Yeah, you can't park on the sidewalk, you have to park on the street. I had actually drafted one, I just emailed it to you.
Okay.
If you wanna-
it's a pretty simple one.
I mean, I can look and see what Huntington has and, you know, bring back some other examples next law ordinance of council wants.
Is it still happening on the south end of town? I guess, is it up around Black's Mansion? Are they still parking up there on the grass on street super nights? Do you know?
I don't know,
I know Scott had mentioned it,
yeah, I don't recall it, I mean, I walk up that.
up
way.
past, beyond Gingrich's place and on up around there.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I walk up that way sometimes and I've never seen it.
It just seems to be on street super nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of these people have parking out back at their places, just drive around and park out back and
Yeah.
walk down the alley to your street or whatever, but. The only other thing I'd like to see done, this probably comes under, is we've talked about this, we need to get these, yellow lines painted to 30 feet in all directions at alleys and and
Now that the weather's
intersections.
finally getting nicer and 30 feet's the number, right?
That's what, you know. You can go longer, but if you can do the 30 feet, that's the,
I talked with Chief Douglas about getting with him and
yeah, he
going for a
talked to me
ride.
as well, and yeah.
Or if you guys wanna go together and you get me a list of streets, we can get that painted now that I think warmer weather is upon us. I mean, anything else for council that you guys want me to, or Caitlin and codes to look at, you know, moving forward?
Nothing else for law and ordinance? Okay. So we have one thing that has to be amended, is that correct?
Yes. And we could do that after I guess we could do it now.
Well, that's where we are.
Yeah, a lot of them is coming out of law and ordinance. We're gonna wait to advertise them after the next meeting, give you guys time to look at those
Alright.
numbers,
Alright.
Mark's gonna look at the public safety.
That's
Is
fine.
there any way after so many, tickets for invalid inspection stickers that we can have the vehicle towed?
Dave, can you?
You'd have to have a new ordinance, or add something to an existing ordinance. There's nothing in any of the ordinances right now that says you can tow a vehicle for no inspection sticker or registration. We looked at that before and ran into some different issues with towing vehicles.
Yeah. It's always difficult, there's a lot involved with towing them away. But if it's something you want, we can see what we can do.
You want us to look into that heavy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, the last meeting, I have one I turned in 14 different months. Still has a 2019 sticker on it.
All right, Mark will have something for us to look at.
I think the other amendments we can do after the personnel meeting at the end,
Okay. All right.
with the manager and stuff, so.
All right, we'll move into public comment at this point. Does anybody have anything to address the council with at this time? That has to deal with what's on the agenda? Okay, we'll move into consent agenda then.
The only thing I have on the consent agenda here is the facility use request, Calvary Bible Church having a community cookout. I believe it's open to the public at Rec Park. I believe it's the end of May. I think they do this every year.
This isn't the same as the pool party.
No, this is different, yes. But they're opening it to the public to stop by the pavilion and that's it for the consent agenda.
All right, I'll take the, oh, there's E on the back there.
Yeah, and we don't have department reports coming first of the month, along with tax collector reports and stuff.
So we don't,
Yeah.
all right. So do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, mayor's report, second meeting.
Lots of times, it's not on.
If you hit the power button, you can use it.
Yeah, my mouth's big enough. Thanks. Every year I mention about the PSAB resolution and policy committee that I'm on. And every year I mention in the early, usually in January, that if there are any ordinances that you would like to see that would make things better in our borough, you would submit them. My meeting is on Friday, so these would be ones that have already been submitted. It's about 3 inches thick, I got the other day, of ordinances that are sent in from other boroughs. And it's amazing, you know, how far our lobbyists are able to go to get these things changed and approved. So, again, I stress the importance, if there's anything that you feel that would help the residents and help us have a better borough, I would strongly, suggest that you think about it, and next year, maybe I can put in for it. Or if there's one that you're interested in, let me know, and maybe I can check and see if another borough has already submitted one. So, but it's important, it's interesting to go through what's important in other boroughs that they'd like to see a change in it to make things better for them. So that's Friday in Harrisburg, so I'll be attending that. Normally I hand in my quarterly wedding report, but I had 2 weddings in January and 1 wedding in February with no fees. I'd mentioned at our last meeting about the county, Mifflin and Juniata County Boroughs Association dinner, and I was wondering, it is this Wednesday, and I hadn't heard from anybody. Is anybody going to be able to attend? It's this Wednesday.
Where is it at?
At the rec center.
What time is it?
The date is at 6 o'clock is the social gathering, 6:30 the meal, and then after the meal there's a short business meeting. But evidently, with the response that I'm getting, it's not seeming like a very good date, but unfortunately I have to have this done before Friday. So, my fault date and it's so late, but if any of you are interested, just let me know. Today was the last day to put the reservation in. So, okay, any questions?
Can you share that document, the
Pardon?
ordinances that the other boroughs are putting in? Can you share that with me?
Yeah, I can,
Please take it.
it's my copy, so.
Okay.
And what I'll do is, what we do at this meeting on Friday is we go through each one of them, and we decide amongst our committee there's probably about 20 of us, and we decide whether or not we feel that this is a good suggestion, something that would, come in handy for boroughs, and then the ones that we feel aren't, then they're dismissed. Okay, so, and I always mark which ones are going, which ones aren't going, so sure, I can show you, give you a sample of what,
I was just curious of what other people are putting in to see.
Yeah.
So is it ordinances or are they like laws?
They're resolutions.
Resolution, okay. Yeah, no, I have. If you can share that, I'd take a peek at it.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Police Chief.
Okay, stats for March, we had 356 calls for service, 39 traffic citations, 27 non-traffic, 4 DUI arrests, and 439 parking tickets issued. Sergeant Lynch completed a Polex Leadership Development course, which was 80 hours in 2 weeks, offered by Penn State. And 2 other officers completed a crisis intervention training, which was 40 hours. To enhance their skills dealing with people in crisis. So both of those trainings were free of charge, and grant funds also covered their hourly wages to attend the trainings, as well as overtime to fill the shifts, so no cost to the department. For the drug report, we had, and Tyler has some pictures there of some of the stuff we seized. With 6 active investigations, 6 new investigations, 6 buys, 2 felony arrests, 2 misdemeanor arrests, 2 search warrants, approximately 5 grams of heroin and fentanyl, 4 grams of methamphetamine, and 30 grams of crack cocaine were seized, as well as a firearm, which I think was in one of those photos as well. So, that's all I have for now.
I did want to mention, in connection with that, I swore in the new officer, Joseph Leiter, today. It was the first I had met him. He comes very well experienced and is a local. He lives in Burnham. and seems very, very eager to be part of our department, so I was really pleased and impressed with him, so thank you guys.
Thank you. Borough Solicitor.
I don't have anything additional.
Borough Manager.
Alright, first thing, sealed bid openings. So we had put out the Bigman property and 22 Ridge Road. I have 2 bids that I got this morning. So we'll open them in the order that they came. I believe these are both for the Bigman property. You wanna read it? You sure?
Yeah.
Alright, so sealed bid property number 2, purchaser's name is Zane Swonger. He lives at 2 Sunset Road there. He's a resident taxpayer within the borough of Lewistown, and he submits his bid to participate in the process here. His bid is for $25,111. And that's for property 2, which is the 45, 47, 49, 51 Valley Street, and then the 228 and that 232 East 3rd Street. So $25,111.
Was that about Valley Street?
What's that?
Did you say something about Valley Street?
Yeah,
Yeah, like the property, it has multiple addresses
Okay.
within that. Some of the addresses are on Valley Street, some are on East 3rd Street.
Okay, and that's what that is for? Is that
Yes.
for?
That's for
Okay.
all of them.
Okay.
Yep, for that whole corner lot.
Okay, so that's not Ridge Road?
Right, that's,
No.
yep.
You get 25 for Ridge Drive, better
What was that, Heavy?
You get 25,000 for that place on Ridge Drive, you better jump on it.
Yeah,
Call the guy
you have a
tonight.
good point there.
And then the other one I have is a bid for Valley Street, 3rd Street, that corner lot, from Steve Watson, from Watson's Optical, for $10,600 for the property. 10,600. So 2 bids. I know that this has been I've had a lot of phone calls here in the last week or so for this property. A lot of different options, different things that people want to do. I think it's a unique piece of property. I think it's that gateway from the north into town. So, I don't know if council would like to act on these tonight. If they want to.
The highest bidder, did he mention what he was gonna do with it?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, and Zane's actually
He's
here.
sitting here,
Yeah.
you could ask him.
I think essentially, Zane and I talked a little bit this morning, and Zane, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You wanna kind of make it a space you wanna make sure that it's not a big building going up there, stuff like that, correct?
Right, so I'll come up here. Yeah, so my main objective is that I wanted to see a good use come to the property. So I'm here to, I would be happy to work with the Code Enforcement Office, Chamber of Commerce, really anyone to hear ideas of what they would like to see happen at this location. I wanted to see it prevented from just becoming just another dismal property in the town, which is why I put in my bid, which I felt was a very reasonable offer for the property. I own other properties within the borough. I also live within the borough, and my goal is again just to see a good use come to that property. So I'm open to feedback, recommendations, suggestions. Caitlin at the code office mentioned that they had plans for different initiatives that they'd like to see within the borough, and I'm pretty much all ears to that. This is me just as a local individual wanting to give back to my community, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity and the means to do that. So again, just looking for something to bring to maybe help either with tourism or just improving quality of life that we have here in the borough.
Are you the one that offered the 25,000?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Do we have any guideline what he can't do with it?
I mean, there is certain guidelines currently in the zoning ordinance, and Caitlin, you can probably talk to that a little bit. You know, I will tell you that the other one, the lesser of the two, was interested in putting up a billboard, and we had talked today, and, you know, it's zoned commercial, you can only advertise what's on the property, you can't advertise for other businesses on that specific lot, just the way that it's zoned.
I'll make a motion, we accept the 25,000.
I'll second.
I have a properly motioned and second. This will be a roll call vote.
And can I just add one more thing before you, a small portion of this does go back to the county, because there was Act 152 funds used on the demolition of the property. I believe it's roughly like 5% will go back to the county. That was what their contribution to the demolition was.
Roll call vote, please.
Heavy Seer,
Yes.
Jim Steele,
Yes.
Steve Knutson,
Yes.
Lisa Knutson,
Yes.
Matt Moore,
No.
Bob Barlett,
Yes.
Scott Gutschall.
No.
5-2 passes.
I'll be in touch, Stain. Thank you. Yep.
It's very refreshing to have a young gentleman who lives in the borough, be interested enough in doing something wonderful for that lot. Congratulations, Lane.
Thank you. Okay, letter B, this is just a reminder, next Monday at 2 o'clock, we will have a press event at the wastewater treatment plant. You are invited, Representative Benninghoff will be there. And then following that, we will take a tour of the facility with him, and there will be some light refreshments, so council, I encourage you to come. This will be the announcement of our grant that we got from Representative Benninghoff, so he will be there with staff. So, the other piece there, I'm just gonna give you some information about this. Summer and I had met with FSL Public Finance. So FSL Public Finance is a division of GSL that we currently work with on the grant side of things. The individual that we spoke with, he used to work with PFM, which is kind of our current financial advisors. He's now been with FSL here for roughly, I think 20 years, he said. So essentially, what they do is, in the event that we need to get a bond or a loan of some sort, they are kind of the ones that go out to banks, different places, and try to get us the money at the best rate possible. Obviously, I always refer back to Summer's question is, how do you make your money? You know, everybody's making their money somehow. So FSL has sent us a kind of a breakdown of what their numbers are based on the percentage that they get for us. So, you know, and I will send this all out to you. I'm not expecting a vote or anything tonight. I'm just wanting to share this with you. They work really closely with GSL. So with GSL working on the grant side of things, they had just reached out and asked us to at least, you know, share what they do. It was a good conversation, I thought. I just need to kind of see what PFM is charging us. We've been fortunate that we haven't had to use PFM to really go after any loans lately. I foresee down the road we're gonna have to, you know, go after some loans with some, you know, different things that are coming. So I want to at least look at the structures of both rates and see who has the better rate. You know, so we're not paying as much on the back end for some of these loans and stuff. So it was a good conversation. You know,
the thing that I liked was that they worked really close with GSL, and GSL, Nick and I probably talk 2 to 3 times a week about different things. So, you know, even though they're not getting paid until they get something, these folks are the same way. They don't get paid until they would secure something for us. So I will share that document out for you to take a peek at. Summer, do you have anything to add?
No, just check the comparisons.
Yeah, so we want to at least compare them, you know, make sure that PFM is, you know, not charging us more than what they should be. So, but we've been fortunate enough that we have not had to utilize those. So,
I mean, assuming you utilize Penvest for your wastewater treatment upgrades, you're still probably gonna wanna get interim financing, and, you know, you'll use one of these people to help you get your best rate for that.
and that's a really good point, because there will be engineering costs and stuff that's going to come on the front side that interim financing will help deter that cost. And once we do secure a Penvest loan, all of that money is reimbursed for those specific things. So that interim financing thing will be a big key moving forward, especially on a $14-15 million Penvest loan.
Right, because the way Penvest works is it's a reimbursement program, so like even while you're building, what you do is you pay contractors and suppliers as you go out of your interim financing, submit that to Penvest, and then Penvest will reimburse you for the money that you spent. You never really know how much you're borrowing from Penvest until the very end, and at that point you kind of lock in your amount and your rate. Well, I guess the rate's predetermined, but then you pay off your interim loan and it becomes your 20-year or whatever Penvest loan.
Okay. Questions for me?
Okay, we'll move into new business. Might as well take A, Tyler.
So recommend, this is to approve the resolution 2025-5, which is the resolution that we need to finalize the leasing to paperwork and loan application for the lease of the fire truck.
So I have the agreement. It's been signed by Heritage and myself. Yes, and Tyler's put his signature on, and we have the deed in hand for the property. Tyler's also made arrangements for the locks to be changed at the end of this week. We're going to put a roll-off in there for them to finish cleaning out some stuff that we told them we would do. So the roll-off's going to go in the building, so we don't have to have it sitting outside somewhere. So I did sign the check this evening for the $200,000 that has to go to Leasing One to get this all taken care of by tomorrow's date. I thought maybe there might be someone here with an update, but I guess not. So.
Just for clarity, for the public, what was the total amount of money that we borrowed, and what was the, how many years?
It's so we're putting 200,000 down, so the total is $1,446,726 for 10 years.
Okay.
Did you get that, Deb?
$200,000 down for the fire truck, and the total that we have to borrow is $1,446,726.
Thank you.
And the yearly payment's gonna be what?
182,560.
That's the wrong one.
182,560.
I don't know. Hold on. Don't quote me.
That was just off. Hang on a minute.
Oh, I knew you were gonna ask, so I'll bring it up. What is it?
182,561.
182,761. That was very good, yes. 182,761.
Strike three.
And of course, that's after the 200,000 down.
Right. Total interest for the whole loan will be almost $381,000.
You say you have to do
Interest 381,000.
Yeah,
That's a 10-year deal.
10 years, yep,
And what was the interest rate on that?
4.79%. then we'll make the first payment on December 15th of this year.
So $182,761, that includes the interest and everything for a 10-year period.
Yep.
So we need to vote on that.
Everything's been met that we asked them for.
The agreement, yes, everything's been signed, properly voted on. Yep. They'll be out of the building by Friday. Locksmith has already been, arranged. Right?
If they're not out of the building by Friday, whatever's in there is,
And they're gonna be there Friday, I know, to empty and clean out the rest that they have, that was work within their work schedule, and I said, I'll get you a roll off, dropped off and put inside. You know, there was a couple pieces of furniture and stuff that it's probably been there since.
Yeah, they said they're getting rid of all that.
Yeah. You want it?
See it. Marking it out, let's see it.
Pass that down so Bob can see that. And Mark has the deed if he wants.
Yes, yeah, I'll record that.
Okay, Mark's gonna record the deed then as well.
I guess the borough should vote to accept the deed.
The deed of the building, wasn't there 4?
Right, there's 4 parcels, but they're all in one.
So that'll be added to the, we'll have to add the vote at the end.
I'm accepting.
Also, just so everybody knows, the title did, not it's part of this, but the title did come from the piece of apparatus that the city was buying off of Heritage. That paperwork showed up on Friday afternoon, and it was transferred into the city's name on Saturday morning up at PA Auto Brokers.
that is correct, I can verify that.
So, and it goes to Fireline next week to have pump work done, and then that's gonna be out for a few weeks, so. So I'll entertain a motion after everybody sees this paperwork to move forward with the loan. And this will be a roll call vote. Do I have a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say, sorry, roll call.
Jim Steele,
Yes.
Steve Knutson,
Yes.
Lisa Knutson,
Yes.
Matt Moore,
No.
Bob Barlett,
Yes.
Scott Gutschall,
Yes.
Heavy Seer,
No.
5-2. Pass.
Okay, move on to B.
So, talking with the garbage guys, they were running out of 3-yard dumpsters, some of the older ones. Last year we had budgeted 32 of them, we only purchased 16 of them. So I got an updated quote, and actually the quote is actually pretty close to last year's cost, which is surprising at this point, with the price of steel and everything else going up. But the bottoms are starting to fall out of some of our 3-yard dumpsters. So, I'm asking for approval to purchase 8 3-yard dumpsters at that cost of $7,982 to be paid out of the refuse account.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Anything else for new business? Public comment. Anybody that wants to address us at this point? All right, we're gonna move into executive session. We will have voting when we come out of executive session.